Hi everyone. I would like to talk to you about the most talked thing in the country this past 1 week. I would like to state this title for this video as India's Winter in March. Before that, this video is based on reported weather observation, publicly available scientific explanation, and the sources that are listed in the description. It is presented for analysis and discussion, not as a proof of any secret weather control claim. Let's turn back into our topic. The midnight at noon mystery. It's March 22nd, 2026. And if you're in Delhi, Punjab, or Haryana right now, you probably didn't need an alarm clock this morning. You needed a flashlight. Across North India, it looks like a midnight at noon. Just 10 days ago, we were sweating through the hottest to March in 15 years, with temperatures smashing 35 degrees centigrade. Today, we're pulling out sweaters out of the storage. In Karnataka, a state famous for its tropical heat, the landscape has turned hauntingly white. In Odisha, a violent EF2 tornado, something unheard for this season, has just ripped through villages. And then there is the ice. Reports are flooding in of hailstones that simply won't melt. They have been sitting under a 30-degree sun for 40 hours naturally. The internet did what it does the best. It looked for a villain. Was this a secret geoengineering project? Is Bill Gates dimming the sun? Or is something much more complex happening in our atmosphere today? We are going to look at the data, the physics, and the real world policy shifts that explain what happened to India this week. Now, the process a massive energy reset. The atmosphere is trying to balance extreme heat from early March with sudden influx of polar air. Now, how do I explain this? Is we are all witnessing meteorological whiplash. When the system moves from one extreme, that is 35 degrees heat, to another 19 degrees rain in days, the transition isn't smooth, it's violent. The opinion is hardwired for a villain like Bill Gates or secret projects when nature becomes unrecognizable. It's a coping mechanism. It's easier to believe in a man with a remote control than to accept that our planet's climate has become chaotic. Self correcting engine that we no longer have control of. Now, let us talk about the straight line monster. Let's start with why. If you looked at satellite on March 18th, you would have seen something bizarre. Usually western disturbances, those winter storms that bring us rain, looks like spinning circles. They are cyclonic. But this system was straight line through. It was a 1,000-kilometer corridor of extreme low pressure. In physics, when we have a linear system like this, the air rushes in from the sides with massive force. It forces air upwards with extreme velocity. Now, the technical bit which I can share is that we can actually calculate this vertical velocity as a function of pressure and time. So, this trough, acting like a giant atmospheric vacuum, sucked up the moisture and started dumping. And where does this dump go? It goes into intense hails across north. And this is why Delhi saw a temperatures drop by 12 degrees in a single day. So it was just not a cold wave, it was a solar shield created by massive stationary band of clouds that refuse to move. Now the process. This process is a linear convergence. Usually storms spin Coriolis force, but when a displayed subtropical westerly jet stream gets blocked by high pressure wall, it forms a straight line trough. Now what's the explanation is? Now this acts like a giant atmospheric vacuum. Using the vertical velocity formula, we can see air was forced upward at a record speed. Because the line was stationary over North India, it shielded with the ground from the sun for days, creating a false winter. Now, the opinion is a 1,000 kilometer rain band is a structural anomaly. It shows that the jet streams, the river of air that dictate our weather, are losing their vigor and becoming struck. So, this isn't just a storm, it's a traffic jam in the sky. Now, you may also see some people taking visuals in reels saying that their black clothes became patchy and dark. Now, but what was the darkness today and what and that the patchy, dirty rain? You probably seen viral videos. Some girl or a boy in black dress pointing at a brown spots on their clothes, claiming the rain is colored or chemical. Here is a data that rumors missed. On March 18, just before the rain, Rajasthan was hit by a massive dust storm with winds clocked at 70 kilometers per hour. The wind lifted millions of tons of Thar desert silt into the sky. So when the rain fell, it didn't fall through a clean air. It scrubbed that the dust out of the atmosphere, a process called as precipitation scavenging. Those brown spots aren't chemicals. It's literally the desert being washed out of the sky. As for the darkness, that's the optical thickness between Jan-like fog from the soaked ground and the heavy dust-filled clouds. The sun simply cannot punch through. It's a natural dimmer switch. Now, the process is aerosol loading and scavenging. High velocity winds at 70 km per hour in Rajasthan lifted the desert silt, that is, particulate matters. Now, the rain droplets then grab these particles on the way down. The explanation to it is that darkness in the optical thickness. The clouds are saturated with both water and dust, which scatter the light rather than letting it pass in. The brown rain is simply the mud rain which is caused because the desert dust is alkaline in nature. So naturally it neutralizes the city's acid rain, but it leaves behind a visible muddy residues on clothes. My opinion is the people in the black dress claiming the patchy colors on their clothes wasn't seeing just a chemical attack. They were seeing the Thar desert being washed out atmosphere. The sky was literally cleaning itself. If the rain is brown, it's a reflection of how much dust and pollution we have allowed it to build up in our airs. Next comes Odisha and the mini Kashmir. While not shivered, the east faced a monster. On March 15th, an EF2 tornado hit Mayurbhanj, Odisha. Tornado needs two things: fuel, which we call as cape, and twist, that is helicity. Usually, India has one or the other in March, but rarely both. This time, moisture from Bay of Bengal hit the wall of dry, cool air from the northwest. This created a mesocyclone, a rotating heart within a thunderstorm. Simultaneously, in Dharwad, Karnataka, a 2-hour hailstorm turned tropical village into a mini Kashmir. It wasn't an experiment, it is a tragic high energy atmospheric collision. What actually happened? What's the process? Now, supercellular development. Let me tell you, it's a rare overlap of high cape, a fuel, and a storm relative helicity, that is a twist. How do I explain this is that a moisture from a boiling Bay of Bengal meets a straight line cold front. This created a mesocyclone. Tornadoes are rare in India because we usually lack the twist. But then the unique shape of March 2026 has provided a perfect rotation for an EF2 twister. The opinion is that when we used to think tornadoes were an American problem, seeing EF2 in Mayurbhanj is a wake up call. Our infrastructure isn't built for 180 km per hour vertical winds. We aren't just facing rain anymore, we are facing a higher grade of atmospheric violence. Next is the mystery of non melting ice. Now, the elephant in the room, the ice. People recorded hailstones sitting in the sun for 2 days without turning into water. It must be a plastic, they said. The truth is actually cooler, insulation and sublimation. First effect for this is the igloo effect. So when the hail piles up 4 feet high, the outer layer melts slightly and refreezes into a crust. So this acts like a thermos, insulating the ice inside from the warm ground. Sublimation is nothing but the air behind these storms was extremely dry. So in a dry air, ice turns directly into gas. So this is an endothermic process. It absorbs the heat and it's from its surrounding. As the outer ice turns to gas, it naturally and cools down the rest of the pile, and it keeps frozen even after 30 degrees weather. So it's not plastic; it's just physics performing a magic trick to us. Now this process, endothermic sublimation, it happens in an extremely dry post storm air. Ice skips the liquid phase and directly turns into gas. Now, the explanation for this is the process absorbs the latent heat from the ice itself. Now, when we combine this igloo effect, the thermal insulation of the large piles and the core of the hail stayed at 0 degrees despite the 30 degrees ambient temperature. So, it is a thermodynamic shield. The opinion here is conspiracy theory call it plastic ice because it does not drip. But physics tells a better story. Sublimation is a nature's way of refrigerating itself. It's not a lab experiment, it's a beautiful cold piece of thermodynamics in action. Yes, there were a lot of hazards with it. Crops were harmed, infrastructures, vehicles, even people, they were affected by this. Now, where is the heat? The boiling south. You might ask, if the world is warming, why am I cold? The answer is underwater. While we are wearing sweaters in North today, the Gulf of Mannar and Lakshadweeps are witnessing massive chloral bleaching. Sea temperatures are boiling at 32 degrees. The Indian Ocean is acting like a big giant battery, soaking up global heat. That stored energy is exactly what fuels the violent unseasonal storms we are seeing. You can't have a record breaking cold wave in north without a record breaking heat wave in the ocean. The heat hasn't gone away, it is just moved. Now this process is called as thermal stress expulsion. Corals expel their algae when water stays above 30 degrees centigrade for too long. Now the explanation for this is, while north feels winter, the south is seeing 32 degrees sea temperatures. This ocean heat is the battery that powers the storms in the north. The heat didn't vanish, it was absorbed by this sea, and now it's being released as kinetic energy, that are your storms. The opinion here is this is the most tragic part of the story. While we debate fake rain on X, that is Twitter, an entire ecosystem in Gulf of Mannar is dying in silence. The ocean is screaming, and these storms are just the echo. Now, Bill Gates and the Budget 2026 reality. What is this? So, where does Bill Gates fit in this? The rumors link to him to Scopex, a study to reflect sunlight. The reality, Scopus, it's Scopex was officially cancelled in March 2024. It never flew. But is Gates is an active participant in India. Look at the Indian Union budget 2026-27. The government just allocated 20,000 crore, that is 2.2 billion, for carbon captures, that is CCUS, and is pushing for 100 gigawatts of nuclear power. Gates backed breaking through energy, which is investigated here, not the spray of clouds, but to build a green steel and clean electricity. The experiments aren't in the clouds; they are in the labs and factories. This process is a strategic decarbonization, moving from sky speculation to industrial reality. How do I explain this? When the union budget 26-27, that is this year, allocated $2.2 billion for carbon capture. This is a real Gates connection, breakthrough energy, and it is investigating in hard to abate sectors like steel and cements. They aren't just spraying in the sky, they are scrubbing the factories. The real experiment isn't happening in secrets in cloud, it's happening open in our national budgets. We are finally putting a price on carbon that's far more impactful than any balloon experiment. Now, how do I conclude this? It's easier to believe in a secret machine than to accept that our planet's operating system is changing. The State of India's Environment 2026 reports reveal that 2025 had extreme weather on 99% of its days. The brown rain, the dark noon, and the dying corals aren't a test. They are symptoms. Nature is capable of far more than we give her credit for. And she's currently trying to tell us that the old rules of the seasons are officially dead. We don't need to stop a concept conspiracy. We need to start an adaptation. The process is a systematic transition. Earth is moving into high variance state. And the explanation for is that when the extreme weather seen in 2025, that is 99% of its days, the March winter is a new normal. We need to stop looking for a man behind a curtain and start looking at the data in front of us. The 2026 anomalies are a call to nature's action. Nature isn't broken, it's adapting to the world we made it. So the question is, are we ready to adapt with it? All this information is been pinned in the description, and I have shared a document where I have done bit research which will help you to rather believe on social media claims. Just a small search and a research can help you to avoid spreading false information. Thank you.